Distance education has become the big topic in higher education. And obviously, you are looking at taking an online class. So let's talk about what is necessary for you to be a successful online learner. First of all, what is distance learning? Distance learning are full college classes that are delivered online or through other distance methods rather than face to face. They are not necessarily easier than traditional face-to-face classes. In fact, they may be more difficult because you are left on your own more in regards to how you are going to do your work, when you are going to do your work, and making sure you get everything done on time. They may be what's called asynchronous, meaning to go to class on your own time, which is what most online classes are like. Or they can be synchronous, where the class meets online at a specified time, such as when classes were moved online because of the pandemic. Now, the advantage, and a lot of students take the online classes because they allow you to choose your own time to do your work. We're delivering the education through technology, so obviously you're going to have a higher technology need. These are very important for your success. First of all, you need to have a reliable computer. Now, you should check with your class to see what your technology requirements are going to be. Some classes will require certain kinds of software that may not run on, for example, a Mac or a Chromebook. Planning on using your phone or some tablets is generally a bad idea. Many pieces of software involved with online education do not work optimally with a phone or a tablet. Things like proctoring software for tests will oftentimes not work that way. You need to have a reliable internet connection. You need to make sure your connection is not going to drop out in the middle of an exam. You also need to be able to schedule with others in your household to make sure that you have the bandwidth when necessary for your class. You'll need a webcam. We use HonorLock as a program proctoring for your exams, and it requires a webcam, so you'll need to have that to go with your computer. You also will need it if you want to have video meetings with your instructor. You'll need to have an up-to-date internet browser. Google Chrome is the most popular and the most widely compatible browser that is used in distance education. Many different browsers will work. However, you want to stay away from Microsoft Internet Explorer or Edge. Many systems seem to have more problems with it. You will also have software that might be needed for the class. Most classes you'll need to have Adobe Acrobat Reader to be able to read PDF documents. Many of them will also need to have some kind of office type suite so you can read PowerPoint presentations that might be posted for the class or to be able to prepare homework assignments. What's important here is that you have to make sure to keep your computer and your software up to date and malware free. So what do you need to do to succeed in class? Well, one of the most important base tools to do is to establish healthy study habits and have a suitable workspace. It takes as much time, if not more, than face-to-face classes. Without the requirements of being in the classroom, it is a lot easier for you to put off your work. You also need to have a good, safe space to work, free of distractions, where you're sitting upright, good posture, good setup with your computer to focus on your work. Lying on your bed with your laptop on your chest is really not a good way to be successful in class. You have to schedule your time. You're not being forced to go to class at a certain date, a certain time, so it's up to you to make sure to keep track of your deadlines. You will have deadlines throughout the semester, and it's your responsibility to meet them. You need to also be aware of them because they may not always be the same day of the week or at the same time, so don't assume anything. Do not procrastinate. That is the single most repeated advice that distance learners have shared and said don't do. You are going to class on your own time. You need to allow time for that, but if you wait till the last minute, things happen. Your computer will update or needs to just restart. Your internet connection or your electricity can go out. You are responsible for your deadlines. Many instructors are not going to accept late work. You had time to work on it, you needed to get it done by the deadline. And allow yourself flexibility during your time because things do happen. Emergencies pop up, people get sick, your work schedule gets thrown off, etc. You've got to be prepared for it. So things happen. Be prepared. If something breaks, try to make arrangements to find another computer, another internet connection from a friend at work, etc. to complete your work. You're responsible for your equipment. You cannot just throw up your hands and say, "Oh, I can't," to the professor. That will not get accepted. If you're having academic accommodations, which is handled through the Counseling and Disability Services office, make sure that you talk to the instructor at the beginning of class to make arrangements. Not all accommodations necessarily will work with all online classes, but don't assume that they're in place. You may have to go, for example, with extra time on an exam, you may have to go into an exam in a different way in order to be able to get your accommodation. The key to success in these classes is communications. Make sure that you check Canvas and any other learning management system you're using several times a week. Check your email and your announcements in class regularly. Instructors will often update the class with changes, with hints, with new deadlines, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you're keeping up on that. Keep in touch with your instructor. Make sure that you let him or her know what is going on. We don't see you every day. We have no idea what's going on with you. So use your Canvas inbox to contact the instructor or use your Delta email to contact them. Please avoid using personal email. And make sure that when you do contact the instructor, you let them know your name and what class you're talking about. They don't necessarily know, and many times your email address will just be something that doesn't translate into a name that we can identify very easily. Contact someone immediately if something does come up. Don't show up 2 weeks later and say, "Oh yeah, I was sick that day. Can I make my work up?" That's not proper. That's not good communication, and honestly, you're not likely to get as much sympathy at that point. I also say you should get to know your classmates if possible. Have somebody that you can work with if you want. Ask questions to. Sometimes just having someone else explain something that they've been able to successfully do can make a big difference in your understanding. Also, it doesn't hurt to have somebody to do some studying with. If you wonder about something, look on Canvas. Look on other learning management systems. Many times the question you have has been answered or the information you seek is already there. Don't just throw up your hands. Look for things. If you are unsure or if you hit a wall, ask for help. The instructor is there to work with you and to break through these walls with you. They want you to succeed. If you do contact the instructor, you need to give them time to get back to you. So contacting them at the last minute about something that's due in 2 hours, you're going to run into a problem. Also, if you do contact them, make sure that you give them as much information as possible. What you were doing, what happened, why you're having a problem, the question you have. Take screenshots if appropriate and include them. Don't just say, "I don't understand," or "it doesn't work," because that's not going to give them anything that they're able to help figure out what's going on and to help you. You have the keys to success here. What you get out of the class is going to depend on what you put into it. You need to make the most of your education. So use these tools, move forward, enjoy your class, and good luck.